The 2024 Oscar season has come and gone, so I finally got a chance to watch every film that's been nominated in the categories of Best Picture, Best Animated Feature, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. I know this video is way overdue. The Oscars premiered a few weeks ago. We already know the results of how everything played out, but I finally got caught up on all the films that were nominated. So let's get into my ranking of all of the Oscar-nominated films I watched from the 2024 film season. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where we love talking about movies and more. I am your host, Mason Phillips, and like I said at the top of the video, we are finally covering my ranking of all of the films I watched that were nominated for an Oscar for the categories I mentioned up top for the 2024 film season. That includes Best Picture, Best Animated Feature, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. There are other films that were nominated for Best Hair and Makeup, Best Visual Effects, Best Screenplay, Best Documentary. We're not covering everything that's been nominated for the Oscars, but just those top categories I mentioned up top. That is 18 films in those categories that we will be covering. I would love to hear what your ranking is down in the comments below. So as we go through this video, please go down in the comment section and let me know what your rankings were. Let me know what your thoughts are on all the films we're discussing down below. I would love to hear from you. My list isn't going to be like your list. My list isn't any better than your list. This is just my list, my thoughts, my opinions on how the 2024 Oscar season went. So before we go any further, I want to ask you guys to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live on this channel. When you guys do that, it always helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. Now let's get on with the video.
Medio ella, medio papá, medio tía, medio rica, medio pobre, medio jefe, medio reina, medio aquí, medio allá, medio muerto, medio viva, medio dentro, medio fuera, todo, nada.
So coming in at last place is the film that was nominated for Best Picture from Netflix. That happens to be the film Emilia Perez. This not only happens to be my least favorite film that was nominated for an Oscar, but also so happens to be my least favorite film from the entire run of the 2024 film season. Emilia Perez was so shocking in how it got nominated for Best Picture. The only thing I can think of is this is what the Academy wanted to be Best Picture. It felt like they were just pushing this film in front of everybody's eyes, in front of all the critics, everybody that was voting in the entire awards season. They wanted this film to be the winner. Whether it was good or not, they wanted this film to be the winner. And about halfway through the award season, I think the writing was on the wall. This movie was not going the way that the Academy had hoped for. It was not being received very well for very clear reasons. Now, I haven't done a review of this film on my channel yet. Eventually, I'll get around to that. But this film just did not land with me whatsoever. The musical aspects of the film were fine. The choreography, the way that the certain scenes were put together, they were fine. But I think it was style over substance in every aspect. They just went for style and pop. No substance to the writing. I don't know what the Oscars were thinking when they put this movie out, when they nominated this film for Best Picture. How could anybody think that this movie was possibly going to win? I am totally flabbergasted. I've got nothing to explain why this film got nominated in the first place. This movie did not resonate with me at all. I could not wait for this film to be over. It did not work. This movie just does not work cohesively as a film. Zoe Saldana, who is the lawyer character in this film, she's really the lead character. If you look at it, she should have been nominated for Best Lead Actress, not Best Supporting Actress. She's really the main character. The movie is following her perspective, her outlook on how all these events are playing out. So she should have been the lead character anyway. She should have been nominated for Best Actress, not Best Supporting Actress. This was the most frustrating film I watched from the entire 2024 film season.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
What happened? They say a heart attack.
You know how rumor spreads, and 1.25 billion souls watching.
Well Cardinal Lawrence. It seems the responsibility for the conclave falls upon you. This is a conclave, Aldo. It's not a war.
It is a war. And you have to commit to a side.
Coming in at number 17 is another Best Picture nominated film. That is the film Conclave, starring Ralph Fiennes, John Lithgow, and Stanley Tucci. This film, at the end of the day, kind of bored me. It wasn't exactly entertaining. It wasn't exactly engaging. The acting was very good. I will say that Ralph Fiennes probably delivered my second favorite performance from the entire 2024 film season. I did end up reviewing this film. You can check out my review of Conclave on the channel right now. And in that video, I did talk about how much I appreciated the acting in this film, especially from Ralph Fiennes. Delivered a very, very well done performance. And that's where I can give the film a little bit of a pass in that the acting was very, very good. It was superb. It was amazing. It was very well done. The film looks beautiful. The music was amazing. The score was incredible, but it just doesn't grip you the way that a thriller mystery film should. And I can get what they were going for, but I don't think it quite got as engaging as they wanted it to be, as engaging as it should have been. It's not a film that really landed with me. It was a film that I found to be very average at the end of the day. For a film that was nominated for Best Picture, I expected a lot more from it.
Annie, I got a kid who wants someone who speaks Russian. Let's go.
No, I'm eating my food.
You're killing me. He's a spender. Come on, let's go. Hello, this is the beautiful Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie.
I'm Ivan.
It was really weird. And I love him. No way. Yes way. Bruh. And I'm seeing him again tonight.
Will you, man?
Seriously?
Seriously.
3 carrots.
What about 4?
I love my husband.
You do not know this guy.
We are consenting adults.
If you think this is gonna be allowed, you're dead wrong.
Do not touch me.
Now, number 16 on this list, it's going to be the winner for Best Picture. It is the film Anora. This film also didn't quite land with me the way I wanted it to. Films that are nominated for Best Picture, that's one thing, but this is the film that won Best Picture. It should have been way higher on my list, and it came in at number 16. I didn't watch this movie until after the Oscars had already premiered, so I thought, okay, this film was nominated for Best Picture. There's got to be a good reason for that. I went and watched this movie, and I thought that was fine. The acting was great. Our lead actress, Mikey Madison, who did win the Oscar for Best Actress, I thought she was great. I thought she did an amazing job in the film. I thought the music was great. I thought it was a pretty engaging story, but I think it also has some problematic messaging in it, but it just doesn't quite come across as Best Picture material. It comes across as a film that was Oscar baity. It comes across as a film that wanted you to see it as a Best Picture, while it didn't necessarily deserve to be nominated for Best Picture. Now, I will say it's very impressive what Sean Baker was able to do with this. He walked away with so many Oscars, the most Oscar wins for an individual in a single year. His film won the Oscar for Best Picture. He won the Oscar for Best Director. He won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, and he won the Oscar for Best Film Editing. I don't quite agree it won the Best Film Editing either. I think that should have gone to the Film Challengers, which wasn't even nominated for an Oscar last year. But of the films that were nominated, I actually think that The Substance should have won Best Editing. We'll get into that later as we get further on into this ranking. So it was very impressive what Sean Baker was able to come away with at the end of the night. That was incredible. But I don't quite think that this is the film that should have been the winner for Best Picture. It's just one of those movies where I think the Oscars wanted Amelia Perez to be the winner. The award season was pointing to Amelia Perez being the one that was the front runner for winning Best Picture. Things didn't quite go that way as far as that film was concerned in the entire awards season. It did come away with several awards, even at the Oscars, but not for Best Picture. They shifted gears, and I think then they decided to prop up Anora and make that the front runner. So as you'll see with me, the way my perspective is on the Oscars are not really about what was the Best Picture. It's not really about what was deserving to win Best Picture or even be nominated for Best Picture. A lot of these films have to have a very strong marketing campaign to get in front of the eyes of the Academy. And there's a lot of money that goes into those marketing campaigns. So it's really about who has more money to be nominated for Best Picture, not who had the best film in 2024 or the year that any of these films are nominated. It's about who had the strongest marketing campaign. And it's clear that Anora had the strongest marketing campaign where the Academy was concerned. Sorry to burst your bubble if you didn't know that. Do some digging into how these films are nominated concerning the Oscars. It's very interesting. Now, that doesn't take away from my excitement or my fascination with the Academy Awards at all. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on how this whole thing was brought together. The marketing campaign for the film Anora also cost more than it cost to make the film Anora. So if you look at it, the film actually kind of lost some money to get the awards that it got. So it's kind of funny how all of that worked out. But Anora comes in at number 16 on my list.
Hello, this is Donald Trump from Mr. Cohn. Thank you so much.
Donald who?
Roy Cohn, nice to meet you.
You, Roy Cohn, from all the papers? Yeah, you're brutal.
Guilty as charged. I'll let you in on a little secret. People, they hire me because I'm a winner. The first rule is the simplest. Attack, attack, attack.
It's going to be the finest building in the country. In the world. It's going to be spectacular.
Don't you forget, I made you.
We have a brand new campaign slogan. Let's make America great again.
Well, I like the again part.
Coming in at number 15 on my list, it is the film The Apprentice that covers the life of Donald Trump, and it stars Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. Now, this film was not nominated for Best Picture, but it was nominated for Best Actor for Sebastian Stan's performance. Now, say what you will about Donald Trump as a person, but let's just talk about the movie The Apprentice. A very interesting piece on the look of Donald Trump and how he kind of came into power. And this is another film that I haven't got a chance to cover on the channel just yet, so this is the first time I'm talking about it here on my channel. It was a film that I found fascinating. I thought all of the actors brought something very unique to their performances. I don't think it's an impersonation. What Sebastian Stan is doing here, I don't think is an impersonation, where he was nominated for playing a specific character. Timothy Chalamet was also nominated for playing a specific character in Bob Dylan, but I thought what Timothy Chalamet did with Bob Dylan was more of an impersonation of Bob Dylan versus what Sebastian Stan did here. I don't feel it was really an impersonation of Donald Trump. It's very easy to do that kind of impersonation where he is concerned, but I didn't get that with Sebastian Stan. I felt that Sebastian Stan was able to bring something else out of his performance. He was able to capture a different element of Donald Trump. He took it in a direction that I felt was more honest and more real and more raw. And I thought that that was really impressive. I wasn't expecting that out of his performance at all. And I thought he delivered an amazing performance, a very good performance. He was definitely worthy of getting nominated for Best Actor. On the film as a whole, it was good, but not great. It kind of falls in that middle of the road for my overall ranking of the films I watched from 2024. And it's very clear on this list, it does fall kind of low on my overall ranking for the films nominated for an Oscar.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
Pretty girls should always smile.
All right, number 14 on my list, it is the film The Substance. This film was nominated for Best Picture, and it is the most recent film I have watched on this list. I just watched the film The Substance, and wow, that film I don't think I was prepared to watch at all. These are films that I don't quite get into. I'm not really a big horror fan, and I'm really not a body horror fan. I don't really like watching these movies. The only reason I did watch this movie was because it was nominated for an Oscar. If it hadn't been nominated for an Oscar, I can guarantee you this film would not have been one of those that I checked out from last year. I was hesitant to check this movie out. I even made it my final film to watch on all of these Oscar films because I really didn't want to watch this movie. I knew some of the stuff I was getting myself into, and when I did finally watch it, I can at least appreciate the performances, I can appreciate the story, I can appreciate the messaging, and I can appreciate a lot of the production value that went into this film. The editing, I think this film should have been nominated for Best Editing. As far as all the films that were nominated this year, I thought that this is the movie that should have won Best Editing instead of Anora. I was so impressed with how the scene work was put together. I was so impressed with the camera work. I was so impressed with a lot of what was going on in this film. Brought so many interesting aspects to a horror film that I was not expecting, and had a much deeper message than I was was expecting from a horror film. Now, this is not an easy watch, and it is not a film that I plan to go back and rewatch, but I was more impressed with this film than I was expecting going into it. As far as the rankings of these movies on my list, we're finally getting to the movies that I did at least enjoy on some level. The films The Apprentice and Anora, I enjoyed them, but I didn't quite think they were as good as they had been propped up to be. The film Conclave, I thought was just kind of boring at the end of the day. It really lost my attention. And the film Amelia Perez, I don't even know why that film's on this list, but The Substance, I did come away enjoying my experience to an extent, but again, I'm not a big horror fan. This is not a movie I plan to rewatch in the future, but I was very impressed with the performances from Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. I thought they both delivered amazing performances and gave you an interesting outlook on how Hollywood and the entire entertainment industry views women, views beauty, views aging, and the problematic messaging that comes from Hollywood that this film was addressing, and I thought it addressed it in a very interesting and profound way.
Feathers McGraw, you have been found guilty of the attempted robbery of the Blue Diamond. If not for two upstanding citizens, you would have succeeded in your wicked plan.
How's my favorite pooch? Another great day of inventing beckons. Wait till you see the next thing I'm working on. A smart gnome.
Call me Nobot.
Oh, hey! Oh, look at him go. Oh, a Wallace onesie.
All right, number 13 on this list, the first animated film we're going to talk about is one of the films that was nominated for Best Animated Feature, and that is Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. Now, I wasn't aware of this, but this is only the second feature-length film that Wallace and Gromit have had. They've been around for quite a while. They've had some series, they've had some shorts, they've had a lot of stuff around them, but this is only the second full film that has been about these characters. I remember watching Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit when I was a kid, and that was my first experience watching these characters. First time I watched these characters on the big screen. Watched this film on Netflix, and it's on the same level as that first film that I watched. I find these characters so endearing, so charming. This was a very fun and entertaining film. I will say that the gnome Norbot kind of creeped me out a little bit, and I think that was the intention. Is he's supposed to be a little bit unsettling in his design and how he acts, especially when they go into some other stuff with the character later on in the film. But I found it to be very fun and very entertaining. I think it was one of the best films I watched from 2024, but I had a good time with it. I enjoyed the film overall. And so I totally understand why it was nominated for Best Animated Feature. It uses a different animation style. It's the stop motion animation style, which does not get utilized quite as much as it used to. It's hardly ever used in the big animated features because a lot of the big studios have gone to 3D animation. So when a film like this comes around, it's really nice they're able to utilize older animation styles that I did grow up watching in those old Christmas specials, some older films. Kind of goes back to the Ray Harryhausen style of filmmaking. I love these kind of animated films. I love the Wallace and Gromit series. It was a little subpar compared to the other films on this list, but I did enjoy it at the end of the day.
Welcome to America.
Number 12 on this list, it is the film The Brutalist. This film was nominated for Best Picture, and you can catch my review of this film on my YouTube channel right now. It's where my full thoughts on this film will be. For this video, though, I did enjoy this film, but I am in complete disagreement with the nominations and the win that Adrien Brody got for this film. He had AI enhancement with his dialect, and I think that should have automatically got him out of the running to even be nominated in this film. When you need special enhancements in your performance, performance. That's not a true performance from the actor. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but this film was very engaging. The story was very interesting, did catch me off guard, and it was a film that I was not expecting. I didn't know what I was expecting going into this movie, and it brought a lot of interesting performances. I will say the AI enhancement to Adrian Brody's dialect aside, I did think he brought a very engaging performance in this film. The performance that I think I was the most impressed with was probably Guy Pearce's performance. Brought a side to himself that I had never seen before from him. That was quite incredible what he was able to bring to a character that you have so much disdain for, but you're still captivated by the performance. And that tells me how great of an actor Guy Pearce is, that he was still able to bring something engaging from this character, even though it was a character that I completely detested at the end of the film. But this film, it was incredible. It was very engaging, very well done. I just don't think it quite deserves all the praise that it's been getting.
You tramped all the way from Minnesota. Why is that?
I wanted to catch a spark.
If you go with snowflake storm, with the rivers freezing, summer ends.
For anyone who's gonna hold your attention on a stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Yeah, you can be beautiful or you can be ugly, but you can't be plain. To keep her from the howling wind.
When's the new album out?
Soon. 200 people in that room, and each one wants me to be somebody else. And they should just let me be.
How does it feel? Turn it down! Play it loud.
Make some noise, BD.
Like a complete unknown. Like a rolling stone.
Number 11 on this list, it is the film A Complete Unknown. One of only 2 films on this list that I actually got a chance to see in theaters. Both happen to be Timothée Chalamet films, so that'll kind of tell you the other film was Dune Part 2. This film I did enjoy. I did a review for this film on the channel as well, so you can check out my full thoughts on A Complete Unknown up on the channel right now. This film I did enjoy, but the issue with this film is that the performance that Timothée Chalamet brings is kind of more of an impression of Bob Dylan rather than elevating the character of Bob Dylan. I was seeing him portray the character in an impression sense rather than from an acting sense. And that's where I thought that the performance was fine, but it wasn't as engaging as I was hoping. But the performance that really surprised me in this movie was Edward Norton as Pete Seeger. He brought a very interesting performance, a very engaging performance, and the performance that I thought should have gotten him the win for Best Supporting Actor. Now, I totally get why Kieran Culkin won it for A Real Pain, but I probably would have given it personally to Edward Norton. I'm not mad that it went to Kieran Culkin, but I would have given it to Edward Norton personally. I also thought that Scoot McNairy did a very good job as Woody Guthrie. It's a performance that people have not been talking about, and I think it should have been talked about even more than it has. It was a very impressive performance because he's very limited in what he can do in this role. It's a stage in Woody Guthrie's life where he was not vocal, he couldn't speak, he couldn't move much, but you still saw all of the emotion in his eyes and his face. You saw so much from this character in a very limited and constrained way. As far as the life of Bob Dylan, this was an interesting period in Bob Dylan's life. I did find the film very engaging, very interesting. I'm not a big Bob Dylan fan, but I did enjoy the film. It was a nice callback for James Mangold, the director of this film. He had done musical biopics before in Walk the Line, the musical biopic about Johnny Cash and June Carter. And so this was another step into the musical biopic genre for James Mangold, and I thought he delivered a very good film. Not one of the best films I watched from last year, but a good film nonetheless.
Long time, long time, long time.
Whoa! That's it, Al. You're doing great.
What happened to that one kid? He used to hang with all the time.
You don't remember?
Remember what?
You really don't remember.
I don't know what more you want me to remember.
What are you gonna do?
He's never never.
Hello.
All right, now number 10 on this list is another film that was nominated for Best Picture, and that is the film Nickel Boys. This film was very interesting to watch for me. I've actually recorded a review for this film. I'll be putting that video together very soon and getting that up on the channel for you guys. This movie was a surprise for me. I didn't know what I was getting out of this film. Didn't see a trailer before I watched this movie. I just knew this film was nominated for Best Picture. So I put this film on, had no idea of how this film was made, the perspective that you found this film in. It's all done in first person for the most part. There's a few shots that are second or third person, but when it's dealing with our two primary characters, it's shown from their perspective. And that was an interesting way to go into this film, and it really helps you not only experience what this film is all about, it also kind of helps you to dive into and become part of the experience. Not in a complete way, but you do get to see this film through the eyes of these two young black men in a very tumultuous time in our history. It deals with some real world stuff. This film is based around a real correctional academy. It deals with persecution against African Americans. It deals with some real life stories, some real hard-hitting stuff. There were actually kids that were sent to schools like this, and oftentimes they were not treated well. Many cases in which it's been revealed that there were a lot of deaths that happened at schools like this, a lot of unmarked graves that have been discovered, and it's not an easy watch, but it's a movie that did catch me off guard. I applaud it for being very unique, being a very engaging experience. I was all in with this film, and it's not an easy rewatch. I don't see myself going back and rewatching this movie, putting this movie back on, but it's a movie that has a very important story to tell, but it's not one that's going to leave you feeling good at the end of the day. So this movie is really good. I did quite enjoy it, but it does fall in the middle of the pack, I think, mainly for a rewatchability aspect. I'm not going to put this movie on right away again. I will get back to it at some point, I'm sure, but not anytime in the near future.
Vai ficar andando no carro daquele playboy, não?
Ô pai, eu achava que playboy era quem ficava bebendo uísque, fumando charuto o dia inteiro.
Sua mãe, mulher mais linda do mundo.
Seus documentos. Anda, anda!
Daqui a pouco passa. Tá ficando perigoso demais aqui, Rubens.
Deputado Rubens Paiva.
E aí, eu já volto, filho.
Mãe! O que tá acontecendo?
O meu marido tá em perigo.
Todo mundo tá em perigo, Eunice.
A tática do desaparecimento é uma das mais cruéis. Como é que alguém entra na tua casa, leva o teu marido, leva ele preso e depois diz... sumiu.
All right, number 9 on this list, this film was very surprising for me. It's also one of the films that was nominated for Best Picture, and it won Best International Film. It's the Brazilian film, I'm Still Here. I'm not really inclined to watch of international films primarily for subtitles. I don't want to spend my time just watching subtitles when I would rather be experiencing what's going on with the actors and their expressions, their emotions. But the subtitles kind of go away when you really get into it and you know how to follow a film like this. So as I was watching this film at the start, it was a little hard to adjust to the subtitles to a different language. It's all in Portuguese, and so as someone who doesn't understand the language, I was having to read subtitles the entire time, and I thought that would be a detracting experience for me, but I found this film to be very engaging. It's based on a real event. It's based on stuff that really went down. There was a dictator regime in the nation of Brazil. It deals with the story of a woman's husband who is wrongly imprisoned by this dictatorship, and she has to go on this journey of figuring out what happened to her husband, figuring out what has come upon her family, and then also figuring out how to move on and live this life beyond what has happened to him. It's called I'm Still Here because we follow this woman's journey of being a mother, being a wife, having to hold her family together, and it's a very harrowing experience where she is concerned. This was a very engaging movie. Another hard watch, but a movie that I was quite pleased to have seen. Again, I'm not normally one to go and watch international films because of the subtitle nature, but if you can get past that when you watch this movie, I do encourage you, go watch I'm Still Here if you haven't already. You can buy it or rent it right now. I don't think it's streaming anywhere right now, but I rented it on Amazon Prime. This was a great experience, a really engaging experience, a hard-hitting experience, and it transcends the subtitles and transcends that. If you can get past that and really dive into the headspace of these characters, it's a very engaging, very well-done experience, and I'm very happy that this is the film that won Best International Feature, especially over Emilia Perez, but this is a movie that was very engaging. I was all in with this movie, and I'm so happy that I had a chance to watch this film.
Dad used to say that childhood was like being drunk. Everyone remembers what you did, except you.
Good one, Dad.
My twin brother, Gilbert. We had two souls, but one heart.
Look, Gracie.
Rabbit face, rabbit face, rabbit face.
Why are you dressed like an ant?
No, I'm a snail.
Oh, funny.
All right, number 8 on this list is another film that was nominated for Best Animated Feature. It is the Australian film Memoir of a Snail. This was another movie that caught me completely off guard, and like Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, it's also filmed in a stop-motion animation style. I was really surprised by this movie. Not a movie that I was expecting, not a kid's movie at all. This is a film that is more so for adults, but it has a very strong plot, a very character-driven plot. The title is a little deceptive. It's not about snails. Snails do play a part in the film, in the plot, but this film isn't about snails. It's about a woman telling her story about the relationship that she has with her brother, the journey she's gone on through life. It goes into the backstory, what happened with her parents, what's happened to the people closest to her, what's happened on her whole journey. It kind of takes you through the journey of her life, and it's very beautiful, very dark at times, but also very heartwarming at other times, and I quite enjoyed my time with this movie. It really surprised me. I didn't even know this film existed until the Oscars came out. I didn't watch this film before the Oscars. I watched it after the fact, and I found out about the existence of this movie while watching the Oscars when I saw what was nominated for Best Animated Feature, and this film just really surprised me, really caught me off guard. So if you like films that are in the stop motion animation style, definitely give this film a shot. It was really, really engaging, really entertaining, and one of my favorite movies of the entire 2024 film season. If you haven't seen Memoir of a Snail, I definitely recommend this movie.
You're looking back at the horrors of your family history. We completely cut ourselves off from anyone else's true pain. Why are you doing this? Oh man, you used to like feel everything. Obviously, there are triggers along the way.
We're not at the right station.
And you didn't wake me up.
Oh, you were having such a good nap, dude.
Jesus
you were like,
Christ, you're on a tour
sorry.
group with
Yeah, I know, I
people.
just didn't have the heart to wake you up.
Has he always been like this?
I love him, and I hate him.
What the flying jeez?
And I want to be him.
You used to cry about everything.
Yeah, it was awful. Who wants to cry about everything?
We're on a Holocaust tour. If now is not the time to grieve, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, number 7 on this list, it's the film directed by Jesse Eisenberg that won Kieran Culkin the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. It's the film A Real Pain. Now we're getting into the films that I really, really enjoyed in the 2024 film season. Right now, all the films going forward sit in my top 10 ranking of every film that I watched from 2024, and A Real Pain was so good. I really quite enjoyed this film. It takes you on just a real world journey, and it feels real. That's the best thing I have to say about this movie, is it feels real. It feels like two cousins going on a trip, more so brothers, but they are cousins. Kieran Culkin's character and Jesse Eisenberg's character. It deals with family drama. You know, that one family member that you just love to be around, but can also drive you crazy. That's what this is about. That's what this whole film is about, is this relationship. It dives deep into character relationship, deep into family bond, and they go on this very heartwarming journey, and you can be annoyed with the characters at times, both Jesse Eisenberg's character and Kieran Culkin's character, but then you can also come to an understanding with these characters, and these are characters, again, you can root for. That is the thing I love about film, is I love being able to root for the characters I'm watching, even if you deal with some very dark and complex characters. But if I can root for that character at the end of the day, that makes the whole experience worth it. This movie was so entertaining. It was well directed, well written, well acted. The music was very good. They use a lot of pieces that were already created before this film came out, but within the score, it really works to help elevate each scene. And this film, every aspect of this movie, how it was made, just elevates the experience. This is a film I was surprised was not nominated for Best Picture, and I think it should have been. And if it was nominated, it probably wouldn't have won the Oscar for Best Picture, but I think it definitely should have gotten the nomination. This movie was very good, and I was pleasantly surprised when I finished watching this film.
We here to become human again and enjoy the things that is not in our reality.
I think you guys are becoming real with each other, vulnerable.
Listen, I already know what you're doing, know who you are, what you about, bro. What? You don't get to tell me what I need in prison. You don't get to do that. And don't bring me in no dark corners no more.
world expects brothers like you and I to walk in with our heads held down. Nah, what you gotta walk in like a king.
Everything is yours. I'm Divine Nine. Yeah. This is Mafia.
Go to your most perfect spot. Do you hear anything? Are you with somebody? Are you outside? Hold that feeling.
All right, number 6, I have done a review for this film. It's up on the channel right now. It's the film Sing Sing from A24. It stars Colman Domingo. And the plot of this film surrounds the drama program in Sing Sing Correctional Facility. It's a drama program for convicts who are becoming reformed. They can tap into some more dramatic elements of themselves. They can become other characters. This is escapism for these men. It's a way for them to live lives that are not attainable. There's a great monologue by one of the players in this film who actually went through this program in real life, and it was so good. It's one of those movies that I'm so surprised did not get the nomination for Best Picture. I think it definitely should have. I wish it would have. I was happy that Colman Domingo got nominated for Best Actor, and I wish he would have won, because I think he's the one out of all the actors that were nominated last year for Best Actor. He's the one that I believe should have gotten the win over Adrian Brody. For me, Colman Domingo was the standout performer from last year's film season, and this film was extremely well put together, and it is just a very pleasant watch. Again, a hard watch at times. Some of these Oscar films do have some very hard-hitting material, but this movie is worth it. If you haven't seen Sing Sing, I am definitely encouraging you. Put this movie on right now.
This is Joy, coming to you live in Riley's mind. Make some noise! Sadness is in the house! It's anger!
Let me at him!
We gotta get our mouth guard, people!
Fear! No, that's not ours! Disgust. Glad to have her on our team. Our little girl's growing up so fast. Ow. Sorry.
It should be nothing but smooth sailing from...
Hello? I'm anxiety. Where can I put my stuff? A new emotion. Oh, I'm sorry. We wanted to make such a good first impression. What do you mean, we? I'm Envy. Look at your hair. Oh, yeah, not happening. That's on we. On what?
It's what you would call the boredom.
What's your name, big fella? That's embarrassment. Welcome to headquarters, embarrassment. Oh, we're doing a fit. No. Oh, nope, going high. Oh, you got a real sweaty palm there, buddy.
All right, coming in at number 5 on this list is another film that was nominated for Best Animated Feature, and that is the film Inside Out 2. I didn't get a chance to see this in theaters. I really wanted to, because I love that first Inside Out film. And so when I sat down to watch this movie, I was very surprised and very happy that this is one of the Pixar sequels that just continues the trend of building upon the first film, and is still a great watch, and maybe not a better watch, but is at least on par with that first Inside Out film. All the players did a really great job. Amy Poehler as Joy was amazing. Louis Black as Anger. Phyllis Smith as Sadness. This was just another great film in the Disney Pixar catalog, and it's one that, again, pulls on your heartstrings, pulls on your emotions in all the right ways. This was a wonderful experience, and I quite enjoyed it, and I was surprised that a Disney Pixar film like this got beat out by another film that's on this list that we will be talking about. But Inside Out 2, for me, came in at number 5 in the entire Oscar season.
Something has changed within me.
She doesn't give a twink when anyone thinks.
Something is not the same. Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz summons you to the Emerald City. Come with me.
What?
To meet the wizard.
Why couldn't you tell me? This is your moment. I'm coming.
The great and terrible.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
All right, number 4 on this list, another film nominated for Best Picture that completely surprised me. And this is another video that I have up on the channel. I did a review for this movie, and it's Wicked Part 1. I'm not normally inclined to go see musicals, but Wicked really, really surprised me, especially the performances in this film. Ariana Grande as Glinda and Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. They really surprised me, really shocked me, and I was super impressed with their performances. I was a little hesitant to go in this film because I didn't think that they were the right choices for either role, but I am glad that I was proven wrong. Both of these ladies elevate the roles that they are in, and this film does a great job of also changing your perspective. I didn't really know too much about the Wicked plot, and it changed my perspective on the film The Wizard of Oz, where I saw that film as very black and white and who's good and who's bad. This film really goes into telling you that who you thought was the villain wasn't really the villain, and it's not that they were a misunderstood villain, but they weren't even the villain at the end of the day. And I think it did a really good job in changing my perspective on Wicked and not stepping on all of the good of that film, but really just, I think it elevated the original Wizard of Oz film, helped you to change your perspective, see that film in a new light, in a new way, and I'm glad it did for the way it was put together. I think it actually helped to elevate that original film, and this film was elevated by the players, it was elevated by the production design, it was elevated by the music. Man, that score is so catchy. Of course, the song Popular, one of my favorite songs from that film.
Popular, you're gonna be popular.
It was a pleasant experience, totally captivated by this movie. You just step into a whole new world when you watch this movie. And it's one of those films where I'm usually irritated by the part 1, part 2 structure, but it doesn't leave you hanging on a huge cliffhanger. You know there's more to the story, but you still feel like there's a beginning, middle, and end to this movie. Even though it's part 1, you still feel like there's a strong beginning, middle, and end. Like it told a complete story within the first part of the Wicked saga. So I was also very happy about that, and I quite enjoyed this film. If you haven't seen Wicked Part 1 and you're not really into musicals, get past that, get beyond that, put this movie on right now.
Sometimes, to survive, we must become more than we were programmed to be.
All right, number 3 on this list. It's another film that was nominated for Best Animated Feature, and that is The Wild Robot from DreamWorks Animation. This film, for a while, I thought was going to be my favorite film from the Best Animated Feature category. Got beat out, and spoiler alert, you know what film beat that out now. But The Wild Robot was so touching, so surprising, and it's one of those films that you don't think you can get much emotion out of a robot, but you really do. I shouldn't have been surprised. It's been done before in films like WALL-E. It's been done before in other films where an object, a character, that is not programmed to have emotions, develops emotions over time, and you feel that motherly bond between the robot and the goose here, and all the players did a great job, and I really enjoyed Pedro Pascal's Fox character here, and I quite enjoyed my experience with this movie. And it's nice what the animation did here, where it's the typical DreamWorks animation, but there's also some brushstrokes put through. You see a little bit of a paint filter put over everything, and in all the right ways. It looks really good. The animation pops in all the right ways, and this film evokes some wonderful emotions, and it tells a wonderful story. It's a story about motherhood. It's a story about somebody trying to live past maybe a weakness that they've seen of theirs, becoming part of a community and bringing a community together. And this film was so touching, so wonderful. And again, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen The Wild Robot, watch it right now.
I see possible futures all at once. And in so many futures, our enemies prevail. But I do see a way. There is a narrow way through.
All right, number 2 is Dune Part 2, the final film in the Best Feature category. For all the films that were nominated for Best Feature, Dune Part 2 is definitely the movie that should have won the Oscar, and it did not get enough love. Dune Part 2, I don't know what the Academy was thinking, but they overlooked this movie in so many categories. Denis Villeneuve didn't even get nominated for Best Director for this movie. I have never understood that. When a film can get nominated for Best Picture, but the director of that film never got nominated for Best Director. How do you do that? I do not know. But this movie definitely deserves more love, more recognition. The Academy really blew it this year where this movie is concerned. Dune Part 2 should have won Best Picture. The size and scope of Dune alone is such a behemoth to put together, and it's almost an impossible task, and Denis Villeneuve was able to do that. He was able to elevate the project to a greater level. Dune Part 1 was really good, but it was really all set up. You get into Dune Part 2, you get into the meat of the plot. You get into what this whole experience is really about. Timothée Chalamet, I believe his best performance was not as Bob Dylan, but was as Paul Atreides in Dune Part 2. He should have been nominated for this film, and there are so many categories this film should have been given a nomination for. Score. It was not nominated for Best Original Score. Now, I know it used a lot of elements from the first film, but give Hans Zimmer some credit. He did a great job with the score in this movie. This film totally blew me away, and is easily one of my favorite films from the 2024 film season. All right, finally, we got into the final film on this list. My number one film on the Oscar list, and also my number one film so far from the 2024 film season. It's so crazy that the Oscars both nominated my least favorite film from the 2024 film season and my favorite film from the 2024 film season. My least favorite being Emilia Perez, and my favorite being Flow. I have a video that is out on the channel right now where I reviewed Flow. This film was so well done from Latvian Animation Studios. This is the first Oscar win for the country of Latvia. It beat out $200 million projects like Inside Out 2, like The Wild Robot. This film was so surprising. A film where there is no dialogue spoken whatsoever, but you still get all of the emotions out of these animals. All the character work is done so brilliantly, and the environments, they're all done beautifully. It's like a painting come to life, the way this movie was put together. Love the animation style, love the character work. This movie was truly surprising, and if you have not seen Flow, it is streaming right now on Max. Go watch it right now if you haven't already. That's my list for all the films that were nominated in the categories of Best Picture, Best Animated Feature, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. All the films that were nominated in those categories, that's the films I ranked right here. If you liked my ranking or you disagreed with my ranking, go down in the comment section and let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear what your rankings are. I would love to hear what your takes are on these films. You notice I didn't rate these movies. I've already done that for the films that I've reviewed individually. They're already up on the channel, and I intend to get around to reviewing all of these movies in full on the channel as well. So save those ratings for the reviews, but this is just my ranking overall of all these films that were nominated. About half of them I thought were fine, about half of them I really enjoyed, and there's really only one on this list that I just thought didn't even belong here at all. But this film season was very interesting. 2024 was a weird year at the movies, I'll say that, but I think there's a lot more hope in the 2025 film season, and especially next year's 2026 film season. I know this ranking got to you really late. I am so sorry for that. Just been playing catch up here on the channel, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, go down in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts are on how I ranked all these movies. Let me know where you disagree with me. Let me know where you did agree with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but again, be respectful down in the comment section. That's the only thing I say, is be respectful to myself and others here on the channel. I would appreciate that. I would ask that you do that, and thank you for your input. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking this video. Again, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live on this channel. When you do that, it always helps me out. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much again for watching this video. I hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.